What's going on, everyone? This is Cadman Cycling. Welcome back to the channel. And here we are back again at the Innsbruck Flat Race. This is 2 laps long for a total of 11.1 miles and about 500 feet of climbing. The majority of the race is flat, just 2 times up the leg snapper, which is a short, punchy climb, but just long enough that you can't really sprint up the entire thing. So this race has all of the different groups represented. I'm in category C, and my final standings will really put me up against just the other Cat C racers, but here on the map we'll see racers from all categories, A, B, C, and D. So you could kind of say here I'm defending my title, and again, that's probably just my ego, but last Thursday, this was my first overall Zwift Power win, was at this course. I got the gold medal. It was just out of only 9 of us in Cat C, but I got first place for the first time since my Zwift career started a few months ago. So was kind of proud of that and really enjoyed the race, enjoyed this course. So 1 week later, again, this race was on a Thursday, I decided to join at the same exact time. So there's really a similar number of riders in this race as there was a week ago. In the final Zwift Power standings, again, in Cat C, there were 9 riders that showed up for Zwift Power. On the right-hand side here, as we skip ahead, I know everyone watching just wants to see the leg snapper, right? They want to see the pain up the climb. So we'll go ahead and skip forward. We're just about to start the first time up the leg snapper. But on the right-hand side, there's 104 cyclists or Zwifters in this race. As I start to put out the watts to try to stay with this group as I can up the leg snapper climb. This climb really does a great job of really splitting up the group. So in this race, we kind of settled into a pack for about 3 miles and then hit this first climb. And I really put out as many watts as I could to stay with the front group, right? There's still a lot of miles left. I didn't want to completely burn myself out as we're just over halfway up this climb now. But I also didn't want to get dropped. I know once we get to the top of this climb, since I've already raced here once before, it goes straight back downhill. And as people pick up speed, it's important to already be in a group when you hit the top, so you can draft down the hill. If you're kind of hanging off the back of a group, you'll immediately get dropped going down the hill. So I make sure to continue to put in the watts as I go over the hill. See, we're still at 350 watts as we're now hitting this downhill section as I try to catch this group in front of me. But as I was saying, on the right-hand side, 104 riders in this race, and that's everyone in Zwift, so that doesn't rule out just the Zwift Power riders. That's everyone from Cat A through D who joined this race. But what I'll be doing is on the right-hand side, there's those circles next to everybody's name on the left-hand side of their name that are different colors and represent which category everyone's in. So C is that blue color. So kind of as I'm going through these groups and these groups start to form, I'll try to look at how many other C riders are in that group just to figure out how many people I'm racing against and will ultimately be in the final standings. For those that are in Cat B, again, I won't be racing against them, but it also is a good marker, right? As a Zwift rider, I always want to be improving and kind of stack myself up against the competition. So eventually I want to be in Cat B. So if I see that I'm riding with a lot of those green letter Bs, then I know that I'm improving and I'm getting closer to that next section. So we made it up the leg snapper. We just finished the descent. And here we are with a group of 5. This was actually the front group off the large group that I was a part of before the leg snapper. So here I'm pretty happy with my position. Again, still the first lap, but this is a short race. There's already less than 7 miles left. So I'm really hoping that we made this selection of just 5 riders that can stick it out for the rest of the race. But if we look at the top right map, we see there is a group behind us that's starting to catch us. So I really put the effort into this breakaway, and this kind of becomes the themes, or one of the themes that was really specific to this race that I'll take away as a learning and a key lesson learned. I think I spent a bit too much energy here in breakaways. And that was really one of my goals going into this, is I wanted to push up the leg snapper. I wanted to get with those front groups, because generally when breakaways form within Zwift, because drafting is just so important in Zwift, they generally stay away. But as we take a second peek at that top right screen, this group behind us is catching. There's that one green dot and a few blues behind it, that it really looks like this group that made it up the leg snapper first and then back down the descent is not going to stay away. The group behind is quickly gaining, and we'll see here in just a couple seconds, we'll kind of merge and form a larger group again. So lesson learned here, I guess I spent a little bit more energy than required. So in the end, all of this group will stay together. I didn't lose any spots, but what I did is I really used more power than I needed to early in the race. And while that won't affect me now, it'll start to affect me once we get further on in the race. There's really, as many other riders say, you really only have so many matches that you can burn in a race, right? So the goal is to stay with the group without burning matches, whether that's trying to quickly make a sprint in front of the group to form a breakaway, whether that's pushing it up a climb. Whenever you really really start to turn over the pedals and put in a lot of power, that's gonna burn a match. And based on everyone's fitness, every single rider is different, but no one has unlimited matches. So it's really important when you're racing to understand how many matches you have and kind of be smart about how you use your power within a race. So here we are, getting close to the halfway point, almost done with the first lap, and this group has pretty much come together. Again, it's not everybody that we had before the original leg snapper, but good portion of people. On the right hand side, it looks like there's a few B's, there's even one D, which is kind of interesting. When I checked Zwift Power after the race, he did get disqualified. He was a little bit over the watts per kilogram for the category, but it's mostly C's, so I kind of know I am where I'm supposed to be here. And here we go under the first lap banner, again in this big group. But here I'll skip forward, and not too far. I really skipped forward just about a mile. And again, we see on the top right map, there's a group behind us that's gaining. So again, from before the first leg snapper, we were in a large group, again, just a few miles into the race, and it was all flat. But we really managed to break away during the leg snapper. We got caught. So I was in a breakaway of 5. We got caught once, and now we're in a larger group. And now here we are getting caught again. So it's like all of my effort up the leg snapper really didn't come to fruition, in terms of I could have put out less power, stayed in one of the two groups behind me, and still kind of ended up in the same place, right? But just have been in the same place with more power left in my legs. So again, that's the key takeaway from this race, is I really put too much energy into these breakaways. It's so flat, and generally I was expecting these groups, kind of once they form, would stay away for the majority of the race, and they usually do, like I said, in these Zwift races. But something was different about this one. The people behind were really able to put a group effort together and catch those that were in front of them. So here we are again, huge group all together, with under 4 miles left. This is really a short race. And again, this kind of looking forward to the next leg snapper is what's gonna determine who wins this. So as we kind of form this group and get ready for the back half of this race, just wanted to kind of give you a quick update on where I am with cycling in terms of the seasons. So I live in the kind of northern part of the United States where we have longer winters. So this is the middle of May right now, and I just got out this weekend on my first outdoor ride. So I only have one bike, which means I'm not fortunate to kind of have one trainer bike and one outdoor bike. So every time I go for an outdoor ride, I kind of have to take my bike off the trainer, switch up the cassette, because I have the Kicker Core, so it did not come with a cassette. So I use the same cassette for my outdoor riding and my indoor riding. But I mean, the weather was perfect here. I just couldn't stay inside. I love Zwift and it's so much fun to race, but ultimately biking is about getting outside, right? Enjoying some fresh air with some friends as we make it up the leg snapper here for the second time. But yeah, got out for my first ride kind of through the parks area of where I live, and really enjoyed it. It wasn't extremely long. I think it was just 25 miles, but really cool to see how Zwift can help training during the winter. I felt like I was at a completely different pace and power output just as my first ride. It's like I'm not starting from scratch. I have this entire winter of endurance built up from Zwift. So it was a cool feeling. I really enjoy racing in Zwift, but then even when you get outside, Zwift is kind of still has its pros. So had a lot of fun. The bike's still off the trainer right now. I'm kind of deciding whether I want to stick with some more outdoor rides this week or throw it back on the trainer and do some Zwift racing. I'm sure I'll kind of be going back and forth as I've gotten a bit addicted to Zwift, but still enjoy those outdoor rides. As we get to the top of the leg snapper, again, I pushed decently hard, but kind of fall behind this group in front of me. I got these two other riders with me, and I realized the importance here of catching that group in front. I was extremely tired up the climb. I kind of took a few seconds there to recover, but immediately start putting in the power again. Now that I need to make sure that I don't lose the wheel of these riders in front of me. If I do, I know I'll be done since there's less than 2 miles left, but I'm able to catch back up. I start putting in the power on this little small riser where I think a lot of people started to take it a bit easy. And just like that, the group's back together. And one of the interesting things I realized during this race is there's that sprint section on the left. I realized that even though this race has all categories included, that sprint section on the left-hand side will only include riders from your category. So I kind of used it as a gauge of seeing how I compare to the other riders in my category, to try to figure out if there was a group of C's in front of us or if we were the front group of C's. And again, it's not perfect, but it kind of helped me in the race realize that I think we were the front group of C's. So this group is kind of half and half between B's and C's. But at this time, with just over a mile left, I'm thinking this is the race for the win for category C. So really my heart rate's high. I'm not feeling here at this point in the race. My heart rate is already higher than it was last week. So I'm not feeling quite as good. But I'm realizing I just need to stay with this group as long as I can, just to even give myself a sprint to the finish. I know I've been coming up with the excuses, but at the end of the day, I'm in this group with a sprint to win the category C in Zwift Power. So even though I've made some mistakes earlier in the race, I had a quick 2 or 3 second trainer dropout. I don't think I captured it here in the video, but luckily that didn't really affect me much. I was in the group and was able to kind of coast through it. But ultimately, here I am in position to have a sprint finish for the win. And this, again, it's a short race, but this is still a decent group to sprint to finish it. What I'm thinking here, 0.8 miles left, it's still a bit too early to be thinking about sprint positioning. I'm really just trying to save my energy as much as possible and stay in the middle of the group, which, as I surged to the front, I wasn't doing the best job of. But yeah, just trying to stay with this group. Half a mile left. And everyone, just before this finishes, thanks a lot for watching these rides. Let me know if you like these voiceover breakdowns. Let me know if you want to see more of me on the bike, kind of those in-race breakdowns. I enjoy doing both of them. Ultimately, I just love Zwift racing, and I love sharing it with you all. So let me know what kind of videos you would like to see in the future. I've done some map breakdowns. I really enjoy like Tour of Watopia, Tour of Zwift when those events come around. So really thanks to everyone for watching the videos, and thanks for subscribing as well. And don't hesitate to hit that notification bell if you want to see more videos like this in the future. I'd love to interact with you guys and see what you like, and ultimately just build the community of Zwift. So thanks for watching. Again, we're not over here, still 0.3 miles left, so I'm starting to think about the sprint. I think I'm in a good position, but man, someone on the front goes with about 0.3 left. I'm on the back, still starting to think about going. I think about going here, and my trainer kind of like fell to the side a little bit, and for half a second I thought I was gonna fall over. So I regained that, and then I immediately put the pedals down, but it's just not quite enough. It's not always gonna be your day, guys. So I did not win the sprint there. Ultimately, I'll throw up the Zwift Power standings here. I got second place. So I was first last week, and then I followed it up with a second place here, which I can't be mad about. I'm improving, but I lost by 2 seconds. I definitely messed up the sprint a little bit there, but hey, there's always next time. So thanks guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. This is Cadman Cycling, and I'll see you on the next one. Have a good one. Bye.